Welcome back, everybody. We just wanted to do a quick tabletop video of the new Ruger Mark IV. Well, it's not exactly new. It's been out at least a year now, and I'm kind of slow getting to this. It took me a while to make the switch over from a Mark III. I have a Ruger Mark III on the table just to show you one thing in particular is that the magazines from the Ruger Mark III will fit in the Mark IV as long as it's the hunter or the target or a similar type action. The 2245 or the Mark IV Lite will not take the Mark III magazines. They require a proprietary magazine. I would suspect that the Mark IV magazines are interchangeable with the Mark III on the 245 also. I haven't seen too many videos on the competition model. Most of them are on the hunter model with the round fluted barrel, so that's why I've got my competition out here and tell you why I did that. Purchase that. And you can see this has a compensator on it. These do come with a threaded barrel, and of course everybody knows the new Takedown version or method of these compared to the Mark III with the lever, the traditional lever that you have to hook, pull out, and then through some practice and some instruction, getting it back together can be kind of a challenge until you get familiar with it. Once you're familiar with it, they're relatively easy to handle. Now, this is my old Mark III with the loaded chamber indicator. Of course, that's been plugged off on this because that was problematic to the cycling of the action, as well as the magazine disconnect required a change out of the magazine release to a tandem cross unit, which it operates perfectly well now. When it was brand new, of course the magazine would not even eject. Now you can see it just spits it right out, comes flying out just as good as the Mark IVs, but still got the takedown problems. If you don't like that, and the loaded chamber indicator, which I don't like, the old style safety, whereas the new ones both have, as you can see, a more modern style safety, almost 1911-ish in its design. This is the old style that they always have had. And of course they used to have the magazine release. I have a standard here. I should have got it out too. They used to have the magazine release kind of European style on the butt plate here. But they moved to this. Now these will interchange, and I'll point that out because on this competition version that I own, rather than the hunter version, and the reason I went with that was mainly because I like the target sights. Just a simple square notch post up front. I elected this to buy this over the hunter model for that reason, basically in that reason alone, even though the grips I had to change out because they have a funky thumb shelf on the competition grips, which don't fit any holster that I have, don't fit my hand at all. They were just a horrid design, and that had an extremely extended magazine release. So that required when I put on these slab grips, and you're thinking, well, I chewed up all that money I saved. Well, no, if I'd have had to replace the sights, the grips, and the magazine release, which stood up a good quarter of an inch taller than this one, I would have, actually still saving money by doing it this way because I like these sights. And these grips were seconds, and they were just a little out of spec, not enough to even hardly notice out of the package. And once I put them on the gun, they were perfect. There's nothing wrong with them at all. You can see they're completely flat on the firearm. But I did require a change out of the magazine release, which here's a Mark III magazine, same one I just pulled out of that other. You can see it slips right in. And this is also a Mark III mag release. You see it works perfectly fine. And you can see how these sling them out. They just literally throw them clear across the room if you're not prepared for it. Now, of course, the greatest thing about the Mark IV, and the competition is no different, with a slab-sided barrel rather than the fluted round barrel that the Hunter has. Still drilled for optics or a red dot or whatever you desire, if you want to put that on it. It has the ambidextrous safety, as you can see, whereas the Mark III, being it's the old style safety, is not ambidextrous, obviously. So everything they did right in my book. I'm not a big fan of the ambidextrous safety. I believe this can be removed from this side if you don't desire it. I believe it comes with a blank that can be removed, because it will actually hit on my hand on this side, and I can see where in this extreme case, I might actually bump that off a little bit. It's not a real positive safety. It's quite mushy, in fact. It does have a positive D-dent on it, but I wouldn't mind it being a little bit stiffer in that respect. Now, the takedown on them is just fantastic. The takedown on these, of course, is difficult. The takedown on these is just the opposite. It's one of the easiest there is. The gun does have to be cocked and safety on, so that means you put the magazine in, since it has a magazine disconnect, cock the bolt back, and then you're able to push the button, and that simply, you've just field stripped the firearm, ready for cleaning. That's all there is to it. Put it back together, put the bolt back in, insert the front rod, line up. This does have some movement in it. You gotta make sure you line it up with that hole in the barrel assembly. Snap it back down, you're ready to go. Nothing could be simpler. But that's my take on the Ruger Mark IVs. They're fantastic. They hit a home run with these. And I prefer the competition over the Hunter. Most people are saying they like the Hunter. But these grips with a grip change out, and less than $30, probably closer to $25, I've swapped it over to a gun that's virtually identical, but with all the positives of the Mark IV from my very much loved and shot a lot Mark III. Now, the 2245 Lite, same animal, same takedown. As long as you put the magazine in, cock the bolt, put it on safety, and remove the magazine after checking that it's clear, of course. And it's the exact same, very fast and easy takedown. I can't stress how light this firearm is. You really have to hold it in your hand to appreciate it. Even with this compensator on it, it is just amazingly light. I always hesitated to buy one because I did not really want a polymer framed handgun. I've never been a big fan of polymer handguns. I prefer steel and wood, and I still do, but I have to admit this one is fantastic. It's amazing. It's a wonderful gun. So there we have it. My take on the two Ruger Mark IVs that I own compared to a Mark III, and I have the standard also, original Red Hawk. Now these are not, I've seen a lot of that. I'm going to bring that up real quick. They say, well, this is a Red Hawk. No, it's not. The Hawk has never been red since Stern Ruger died. They were black originally, or rather red originally. They changed them to black when he died, in order to memorial for him, just to signify his death. And they've gone back to the red, but the eagle is not red, the background is red. These are not Red Hawks. These are just gone back to the red background. So there we are. The two home runs in my out of my book. A quick look up and down these two. Of course, this is the Lite 2245. So there we have it. Just wanted to get these out there because you don't see the competition in a lot of videos, and it's my preferred firearm. This is quickly moving up on my list though. The target, it's going to come out of the safe less and less, I think, now. The Mark III, I'll probably be, in fact, selling this firearm in the future, even though as fine as a firearm as it is. Unfortunately, the new and better and improved versions have just overshadowed it. So thanks for watching. We have a lot more interesting, fascinating old World War II collection firearms coming up, continuing in the budget collector series I started. So stay tuned for those. Thanks for watching.